Hello and welcome to Wisdom Trek. This is Guthrie Chamberlain and I'm your guide to wisdom and creating a living legacy. Thank you for joining us for our 7-day-a-week 7 Minutes of Wisdom podcast. This is day 199 of our trek, and for this week we will stay in camp digging up nuggets of wisdom as we continue our exploration into the book of Proverbs Chapter 6. Yesterday we explored verses 12 through 19, and today we will dig into verses 20 through 29. If you do miss any of the days of the Wisdom Trek episodes, please go to wisdom-trek.com and listen to them and to read our daily journal. We are recording our podcast in our studios at Home 2 in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know that Christmas is getting close when I make my world-famous caramel corn. Well, at least it's famous in my little world. Yesterday I made 12 batches total, and some of the batches included pecans, almonds, or walnuts. We give most of it away to siblings and neighbors, but we do keep some of the delicious mouth-watering treat for ourselves. I will include a picture in today's journal of a couple of the huge walnut bowls that we place the finished product. It is great to have traditions in our lives, which is part of our living legacy. I know that our grown kids will be looking forward to some fresh batches of caramel corn when we celebrate Christmas with them on January 9th, and they won't be disappointed. As we remain in camp for this week on our study of Proverbs Chapter 6, it reminds me of the several years where Paula and I took our kids, and usually many of their friends, and sometimes even church youth groups, to a week of primitive camping in the hills of Pennsylvania called Creation Fest. We have some real fond memories of our times there. It is my hope that you and I are forming those fond memories and friendships as we share each day together on our Wisdom Trek. So let's get started for today and dig for some more nuggets of wisdom as we explore Proverbs Chapter 6, verses 20 through 29. As a reminder, this chapter in Proverbs is referred to Lessons for Daily Life, and that it is. First, I'll read the entire passage, and then we'll break it down into small segments as we dive deeper into our explorations. So starting in verse 20, "My son, obey your father's command, and don't neglect your mother's instructions. Keep their words always on your heart. Tie them around your neck. When you walk, their counsel will lead you. When you sleep, they will protect you. When you wake up, they will advise you. For their command is a lamp, and their instruction a light. Their corrective discipline is the way to life. It will keep you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of a promiscuous woman. Don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coy glances seduce you. For a prostitute will bring you to poverty, but sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life. Can a man scoop fire into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Can he walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So it is with a man who sleeps with another man's wife. He who embraces her will not go unpunished." That's the entire passage, but now let's dig into the verses themselves. Starting with verses 20 and 21. "My son, obey your father's command, and don't neglect your mother's instruction. Keep their words always in your heart. Tie them around your neck." We should love wisdom. Wisdom should be in our hearts and in our minds. We keep wisdom in our minds or our hearts by constantly being aware of the choices that we make. Wisdom should be so evident in our lives, it would be as if we were wearing a very noticeable necklace. We should always live in a wise manner. Let's move on to verse 22. "When you walk, their counsel will lead you. When you sleep, they will protect you. When you wake up, they will advise you." This is the theme for Wisdom Trek. Life is a journey. Wisdom will guide us each day. Wisdom will help us to make the right decisions. At night when we sleep, our wise decisions will protect us. As we wake, we can think about wisdom. The relationship between us and God must be like this. God will guide us to make good decisions every day. The Bible will teach us the right way. At night, God watches over us. He protects us. As we wake, we should think about God also. Let's move on to verse 23. "For their command is a lamp, and their instruction a light. Their corrective discipline is the way of life." Now this verse is similar to Psalms 119:105, which says, "Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path." God will provide us clear direction each day on our trek of life. Now on to verse 24 and 25. "It will keep you from the immoral woman, from the smooth tongue of the promiscuous woman. Don't lust for her beauty. Don't let her coy glances seduce you." Now Solomon is writing about sex in these verses, but it can also be applied to other evil actions. It seems like sex drives so much of our society today, but it's been like that in every age since creation. It actually stems back to the Garden of Eden, where Adam and Eve desired the forbidden fruit more than they desired to obey God. Sometimes an idea about an evil action does attract us, or some other compulsion we may have. Sometimes we do want to do evil things. It is that forbidden fruit that God warned Adam and Eve about. But we should refuse to do evil things. Solomon has taught a similar lesson to this before in both Proverbs Chapter 2 and 5, and who will also explain the same lesson in Proverbs 7. He repeats this lesson because it is so important. Sex is so prevalent in every culture and society. As Solomon writes in Ecclesiastes Chapter 1, verse 9, history merely repeats itself. It has all been done before. Nothing under the sun is truly new. In Proverbs 6, verses 25 through 29, Solomon does explain about punishment. A husband may punish another man if he sleeps with his wife. In the same way, our evil behavior leads to punishment. God will always punish our evil behavior, either directly or through the consequences that we may suffer because of our unwise choices. There are punishments in this world, for example, either a physical prison or the prisons of addiction that we find ourselves trapped in because of our choices. The Bible does teach us about heaven and hell after we die. Everyone has done evil, so everyone must turn to God. We all must trust God because only God can forgive us. When Jesus died, he suffered our eternal punishment in our place. Now let's move on to verse 26. For a prostitute will bring you to poverty, but sleeping with another man's wife will cost you your life. Now if a man has sex with a woman, she might use it to her advantage. She may even require money for her services. Spending money for sex will bring a person to poverty because it can easily become an addiction. She might also put him in danger of diseases. If you have an affair with a married woman, it could cause such anger from the offended spouse that even if physical death does not occur, spiritual death could easily occur within you. An analogy follows in these last few verses in this segment, which are verses 27 through 29. Can a man scoop a flame into his lap and not have his clothes catch on fire? Can a man walk on hot coals and not blister his feet? So it is with a man who sleeps with another man's wife. He who embraces her will not go unpunished. Now we all know that fire is dangerous. It can burn you. You must use fire carefully. Sex can also be dangerous when it is outside of marriage. You should only have sex with your husband or wife and only within the confines of marriage. Otherwise, it is dangerous. So be careful. Our evil actions are dangerous, so escape from those evil things. In any areas of your life, don't partake in the forbidden fruit, which is anything in our lives that is contrary to God's precepts in His Word. We must trust in God. Today, as we dug up more important wisdom nuggets, let's learn to obey God's command and resist that forbidden fruit and the sin that encroaches on our daily trek of life. That is the only way that we'll find true peace and joy in our lives. Let's ponder the wisdom in this passage and also encourage your family and friends to join us and then come along with us tomorrow for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy, as we continue to dig from those nuggets of wisdom in Proverbs Chapter 6, starting in verse 30. That will finish our podcast for today. Remember to listen to your daily dose of wisdom each day at wisdom-trek.com or subscribe at iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, or YouTube. And please share Wisdom Trek with your family and friends through email, Facebook, Twitter, or in person, and invite them to come along with us each day. The journal for today's trek can be found at wisdom-trek.com. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, you are my friend, as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. As we take this trek together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. This is Guthrie Chamberlain reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and then create a great day every day. See you tomorrow.